About 6 months ago, we brought our Countyline cameras here to this facility on the west side of Fort Wayne. It used to be the old Washington House, a facility where individuals with substance abuse issues could receive treatment. Well, the building now has a new name. It's the Kelly House, and it has a new mission thanks to the hard work put in by the Allen County Community Corrections Department. And joining us again is Stan Pfluger, who's the Public Information Officer for Community Corrections in Allen County. And wow, quite a change from the time we were out here this past spring. A lot of work's been done out here at the house.
Yes, Mike, we're very proud. We've been able to use the Recovery Act dollars that we were given by the federal government to make some pretty drastic changes out here.
And you were also able to use existing county support and employees to help with the renovations and keep the costs down.
Yeah, that's correct. Dave Fuller from the building department and Dan Freck from the buildings and grounds with the county. Dan's staff especially spent a lot of time out here doing some of the renovations, and some were charged to us and some were done just to kind of fill up their time and allow their guys to work indoors over the winter. So.
And the house has a new name also. It's now the Kelly House as opposed to its earlier name of Washington House, and named in honor of Jim Kelly.
Yes, and Jim's involvement was originally with the Washington House when it was originally built as the Washington House. He was one of the major donors and the influential people that helped get the facility renovated and put into place. So we thought it would be a good way to honor his involvement.
Now, for the benefit of folks who may not have seen the program we did early in the spring, explain a little bit about what the Kelly House, what its existence is for.
Okay, the Kelly House is what we call a modified therapeutic community, or an MTC. And a modified therapeutic community is a specific program that's designed to work with individuals who have a substance addiction, so that could be drugs or alcohol, as well as some serious mental illness. And that dual diagnosis creates some initial or some unique problems that have to be dealt with. Manic management of medications, educating them about their mental illness and how that interacts with their addiction, and so that's the purpose of the program that we put into place.
Now, is this necessarily a voluntary program for these individuals, or is there some sort of screening that takes place prior to their being placed here?
Actually, both. They will be screened through a mental health evaluation that's conducted by Community Corrections, and then that information, based on that information, will identify potential candidates for the program, and then that information will be reviewed by a psychiatrist. And once everybody, the court and everybody, is in agreement that the person meets the criteria and would be a good fit for the program, then it would be presented to the defendant or the offender and their attorney, if there's an attorney involved, for them to agree to come out to the program.
Now, as we're recording this, you have not yet placed people here. They're not living here yet. By the time this airs, you will have some folks here. What's the initial plan? What's kind of the startup? How are you rolling this out?
The initial plan is to get a pioneer group, what we call a pioneer group of about 8 to 12 people. It's a manageable amount of people that we can still do groups, but it's small enough that we can kind of work with the logistics of opening up a new facility. And so that pioneer group will help us build the culture, the influence of the community members and the interaction with the staff, so that they'll serve as role models for the larger group of people that will come after them.
And you have capacity for how many out here?
The final capacity will be for a total of 48, which was the original capacity of the building.
And you will have security measures in place, even though it's not, even though it will be run by Community Corrections, but you will have security here in place for those individuals who are here.
Yeah, we'll have security staff here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for that active security. And then there are other passive security systems, the cameras, the motion detectors, all of the alarms and those kinds of things that'll help us know where people are and what's going on.
This is very unique, I understand. Maybe, is this like the first in the nation, or at least certainly in Indiana?
Yeah, the modified therapeutic concept has been around for quite a while, but all of the modified therapeutic communities that exist inside of a prison or at like homeless shelters, things like that. But this is the first MTC that we're aware of that is operating in a community-based setting by a correctional program.
So this will probably be looked at, monitored, to see what successes you have and any problems that might come up, and potentially used in other parts of the country maybe.
Yeah, we've actually already been asked to present some information at a conference out in New York in November on, it'll probably be a little bit early to tell too much about success, but at least about our experiences in trying to get this type of a program set up in the community as opposed to in a prison.
Okay. Stan's going to take us through the building and show us a little bit about some of the areas, and as we're talking, we'll probably try to incorporate some of the video that we shot back in April. It's going to be quite a dramatic change, I think you're going to see. So let's take a look around.
Okay.
Now this is what one of the dorm rooms looked like when we were out here back in early spring. As you can see, it's needed a lot of work. And now we take a look at the change today, and quite a transformation has taken place. Stan, you've got, it looks like 3, 4, 5, 6, room for about 8 people in here. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're initially going to start out with all male residents. The majority of the individuals who would be eligible for this program would be male. There's a higher percentage of that. And plus, we don't want to have to deal with all of the issues of a co-ed facility at the same time that we're trying to start a new program. So initially, we'll have men out here, but then we'll later figure out how to work the women into the program.
And this is mainly just for in the evenings, right? I mean, this is pretty much what it's going to be because, as you were explaining to us, there has to be enough unencumbered room, unencumbered space in each of these dorm rooms.
Yeah, that's correct. This is a sleeping area specifically, and then each dorm or sleeping area has with it a corresponding day room, which is where a television, where tables where they can play cards and read and those kinds of things, and then each dorm area also has its own specific restroom and shower facility. So for this, those are all down the wing, down the hallway, and there are 3 residential or dorm areas on the first floor, and 3 or 4 upstairs. I don't remember exactly how many.
One. Now we're back in the main lobby, or the front entrance of the house, and we're mentioning with Stan a little bit about the ability to use county resources, employees to help out with some of the work, and even some of the equipment. This X-ray machine, scanning machine, you actually found that kind of tucked away someplace within a facility.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. It was in storage over at the new Bud Meeks Center, and I don't remember exactly where it came from, if it came from the courthouse or someplace, but it was a really expensive piece of equipment that there was no way to put it, no way to use it, and so we found a way to get it out here and reuse it and save that cost.
Now, you have some other, and we'll show some of the other security measures that you're working on getting in place before you actually open the facility up. What kind of interaction with, say, family and friends will the individuals who are housed here have?
The first 30 days, they are kind of segregated from that contact. They're here to focus on absorbing the culture and absorbing the events that are going to happen here. And then once they demonstrate an attitude where they buy into that and they support the culture that we're trying to build here, then those incentives that will follow include being able to interact with their family. And but also, it's not just an incentive. Recovering from a mental illness or an addiction is not just a solo kind of act. Anybody that deals with that deals needs a whole support network. And so what we'll try and do as they demonstrate a willingness to invest in their recovery is to identify who that support group is and have them be actively involved in the program out here too.
And this really isn't a halfway house or a transitional type of facility, so these people will be housed here. They will remain here pretty much the entire time. They won't be working outside within the community or anything like that.
That's correct. They'll maybe leave to go to counseling appointments at Park Center or down at the Community Corrections Building, but generally they'll spend most of their time here, and then they'll work up to a point where once they've demonstrated a good recovery from their addiction and that they're ready to be out in the community, then we'll work with them on job skills maybe towards the 9-month mark of the year-long program and get them out into the community, but still be able to bring them back here so we can track how they're doing as they make that transition. And we've moved now to the kitchen area, and I kind of recall it needed a fair amount of work when we were here back in April, and that has taken place. So this is the area where they'll, at first, you're having some folks come in to prepare food. Is that correct? Yeah, and it's just another example of cooperation between county agencies. The sheriff is going to provide the meals for us through the jail, through the meals that are prepared for the jail, and they're going to do that at a reasonable cost that'll let us get started here. And then we're working on obtaining the necessary permits to be able to prepare meals here on site, which will be another responsibility that the residents will have as part of the work that they do here. And we'll be able to integrate the gardens. Last time we took pictures of the gardens and things, and we this summer kind of practiced growing some vegetables and stuff, and have donated those to some farmers markets that have raised money for the food bank. And so next year we'll be raising the produce to be able to store and use here for the residents. The responsibility aspect, work and making their own meals, that's something that's emphasized very highly in this environment. Yeah, one of the trademarks of the modified therapeutic community is we want to stabilize people, get them taking their medications on a regular basis. Most mental illness can be the symptoms can be lessened through regular medication. People can function out in the community. And so that's what we're going to do here, is get them stabilized, get them to understand the importance of it, so that at the end of the program, they'll be ready to move out into the community and be able to live in a semi-independent status. And we're back now in the room where we started the interview with Stan, in the large group room, I think is what you refer to it as. This is where you'll have all the residents together, where you have, I think you talked about the morning meetings, and whenever you want to get them together as a large group. Right. The morning meeting kind of sets the tone for the day. There are certain elements of the morning meeting that are the responsibility of the community members. They do current events, talk about news. They review the philosophy of the Kelly House, the word for the day. All of those kinds of things are elements of the morning meeting. And then in the evening, there's also a night meeting, a night house meeting, just where they review any issues that came up during the day, what necessary steps they're going to take to resolve those meetings. And then anytime when we're ready to integrate the family members of the residents here, this will serve as the main area where we do that too. It's interesting because it sounds like you spend about an equal amount of time dealing with them on a one-on-one basis, but then also in group type setting. Yeah, it's really, it's the word community really is significant about this, because the idea is we develop co-responsibility, co-accountability for what takes place, that I'm not just accountable for my own behavior, but if I see someone else not following the rules, it's my responsibility to bring that to their attention so that they know and that they can correct that. And so it really is like the concept of our communities. You know, as neighbors, we watch out for our neighbors and would do the same thing for them. And so that's what we're trying to model and teach here.
Well, Stan, thanks so much for spending time with us, showing us around. Quite a change, as we mentioned, that's taken place here. And we hope quite a change for the individuals who come through here. And we look forward to learning more about what happens in the next several months and years to come with this facility. And perhaps it will become a model for other communities and within our nation.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Again, just kind of going back to that concept of community, it's been a real cooperative effort between the Sheriff's Department providing the meals, the Commissioner's Office helping us get the building, Dan and his staff helping renovate the building, and so it's really a group effort, and we're looking forward to hopefully having some real positive stories to tell later.